Yes, people, what's happening? Back again for another stream. Back on with man like Elite Baller. Elite Baller, what you saying, man? You all good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How's it going, bro? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Obviously, done a live watch along, just like yourself as well, on Saturday. And to be fair, man, I was touch and go whether to do it or not because I wanted to just take this game in properly. And
Yeah.
obviously the lead up to it, I was saying it's gonna be a massive game for Amorim.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what, let me just do a live watch along. And to be fair, like it was, it was interesting, but I couldn't really focus too much on the game as such. Obviously I interacted with a few people in the chat and that, but yeah, man, it's just, what to say about this game, man? What did you make of it?
The first half, as always, is very predictable. Even more so, Goodison Park, where the crowd is right up for it. They go wild for any tackle. They have a go at the referee for any kind of decision. So it was always going to be tough in the first half. And as usual, we concede. We concede first of all. The first half was a bit of a write-off, really, wasn't it? I mean,
What did you make of the lineup? Was you happy with the lineup?
I was more happy than I have been. Trying to remember if there's any. Well, I was surprised that Højlund started yet again. To be quite honest with you, I was surprised at that because it just seems it doesn't really matter what he does. He's just always going to play, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. So I was surprised by that. What about you? What did you think of it?
So I done my team. I think it might be on a Thursday or Friday. So I done my team that I would pick, and then I kind of predicted the team that he would pick. So in terms of the back three, and obviously the goalkeeper, I got that right. So I said that he's going to play Maguire, De Ligt, and Mazraoui, which he did, and obviously Onana in goal. The midfield of Ugarte and Casemiro, that's the midfield that I would have played, but I didn't expect him to play that. And he kind of surprised me because I thought what he was going to do, if he fits in Bruno Fernandes, then that just meant that Bruno's going to play in the middle with Ugarte. So obviously I knew Ugarte was back. And that meant that it was going to be the same front three of Xerxes, Erasmus, and Garnacho. But then when I see that he played Casemiro and what's his face and Ugarte, it meant for me, it meant that because Xerxes was definitely going to play because he has to play. So it meant that either one of Garnacho or Højlund was going to miss out. And I thought more than likely it would have been Højlund missing out. That's what I thought. So I went with Garnacho, Bruno, and Xerxes as a striker. But he kind of done the same thing, but just played Højlund instead of basically Garnacho.
Yeah.
So the lineup itself, from what was on offer, again, I would have made a couple of changes. I would have started Christian Eriksen personally, for his creativity. Yeah. I would have played a front three of Eriksen. I'd have played 2 10s in Bruno and Eriksen, and then Joshua Xerxes. Yeah, that's what I would have started with, and then used the fresh legs of Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund off the bench. But again, it just shows you that these are the kind of options that we're talking about. Where Man United's quality and depth is so poor, we're having to kind of think about Garnacho and Højlund making impacts off the bench. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the team he started with was kind of obvious as to what he was going to do. I think bar Casemiro and Ugarte, which I didn't see, everything else was quite obvious.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you're right about Eriksen. I think he's still getting criminally underused. I mean, I know he's not the future. I know he's probably going to be gone in the summer, but at the end of the day, while he's here, you might as well make the most of it. And I think, there's certain games where he doesn't even have to start. He doesn't have to last the whole game, but at least give him like half an hour to see what he can do. Because whenever I see him play, he always does something that impresses me. Like his football brain is still there. He doesn't really give the ball away hardly ever. And when you compare that to Bruno, it's just I don't understand it. But yeah,
Mm.
I was more happy with the team. But like you said, sorry, I would have put Højlund on the bench, bring him on as a sub. I thought the fact that he didn't start with Garnacho was quite interesting. I was wondering if that's because he was getting sort of not punished, but sort of, questioned about what he did for the last game. So I was cool with that. But yeah, first half was pretty dismal at the end of the day, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think, well, as you can see on the at the bottom, Ruben Amorim now in dangerous territory. For me, I don't want Amorim to get sacked at this moment. But what I will say, the way he's heading, it's going that way. I would say, and I think Ineos they're gonna have a decision to make, man. Because to be honest with you, since he's come in, and I never thought I'd be saying this.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been better than Ten Hag.
No, I know.
And this is the problem, because I was desperate for Ten Hag to get sacked because I just didn't rate anything that Ten Hag was doing.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time now, I have to say he's doing a worse job than Ten Hag. And obviously the stats there are proof of that as well.
Yeah.
And again, I think this game here against Everton, as you said, the crowd are always on top of you. Goodison Park is actually a tight pitch as well, and their crowd invariably, puts pressure on you. So it's a kind of game, where you need like a lot of character, you need a lot of quality as well. And I think in the first half, especially, it's probably one of the worst performances I've seen of a United team this season, and there has been a few. I can't actually pick out to anyone that really played well in that first half. I think there was a few players that when they got the ball, they were doing decent bits on the ball. But as a team performance, it was shocking. I think in terms of the midfield setup, the one thing that I did like about Ugarte and Casemiro is that the gap in the midfield wasn't massive in comparison to when it's been Bruno and Ugarte in there. So the gap wasn't that massive. So, and again, you needed that kind of South American grit, determination in that midfield as well, against a team like Everton, so that's why I was happy when he played both of them. But in terms of the quality going forward, as we know, Rasmus Højlund, I mean, how many times have we got to keep talking about this player?
I know.
He for me, and I keep on saying it, he's the worst striker in the league by far. For me, he's one of the worst strikers I've seen at this club because, as I said, you get people telling you, he doesn't get any chances created for him, and you're basing his game on goal scoring. Again, for me, that's very narrow-minded because in today's football, a striker has to do a lot more than just put the ball in the back of the net. It's not the era of the Alan Shearers, the Andy Coles, these kind of players. A striker has to link the play, as I keep saying. He has to do a lot more in general play. And if Rasmus was doing that, then, the chances that are not getting created for him, he could have a case. But when you've got a striker that's your focal point of attack, and he can't hold the ball up and the ball just keeps coming back, I mean, what is I don't understand what is taking Amorim too long to realize that this player is useless, and even Cheeto, when he come on again, the first thing I said when Cheeto came on, I said, on my live in my live watch along, I said Cheeto looks like a little boy out there. He looked 17. Whereas when you get other 17-year-olds that come into the first team, you can see they some of them belong at this level. But Cheeto looked like he had no right being out there, and that isn't his fault, but obviously needs must at the moment. And as poor as Højlund was, Cheeto was no better, and you hear people saying, Cheeto was good, but he wasn't. He was poor, let's be honest. And and again, Amorim has been saved by his players, because the way he set the team up, in terms of that front three. You know, again playing Xerxes as a 10, which I don't like to see. And it's taken. You know, I know people will say Garnett. I think they say Garnacho come off the bench and change the game, which again he didn't really. He just came on the pitch and just offered, you know, a threat in behind. You know, I wouldn't say that's really necessarily changing the game. He just offered a different sort of option, I would say. And again, the players kind of took it into their own hands and salvaged the point. Really, that's what I would say. You know, so yeah, not good, man.
Yeah. So what you were saying about Højlund, what I want to sort of draw attention to is Amorim, by playing him every game regardless, is actually doing him harm. Yeah, because basically he knows that it doesn't really matter what he does. He's going to start the next game.
Yeah.
So how do you expect someone to do better when there's no threat that they're going to get taken, that they're going to get replaced next game?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, because what that's doing, that's just breeding a kind of way that Højlund doesn't. Well, Højlund might look at it and think, well, he ain't doing too much wrong because the manager keeps on playing him.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. So it's sending out the wrong signals, you know, and it's the problem is, I mean, you hear murmurs behind the scenes of them saying that, you know, the coaches are now not really happy with Højlund. But I mean, can I see Amorim dropping him? I can't, because he's already come out and said he doesn't see Xerxes as a 9, which again is just madness, you know. And the fact that he can even come out of that, again, questions have to be asked his manager, because how he can say that is a joke. And again, if you're not going to play Xerxes in the 9, you're going to keep persisting with Højlund, and then if you're going to play Cheeto's not ready. So yeah, it's massive problems, man, because I don't really know where United go from here in terms of that position, because again, if he does start to play Xerxes as a striker, he's going to make himself look stupid. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really know, man. But my prediction for Amorim, I have to be honest, I don't think he lost the season.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he lost the season. I think it's impossible, because he's gonna need to, as we know, win the Europa, which I don't think at the moment United can do, and he's gonna need to get a respectable finish in the league as well. Which again, with the current crop of players they've got and the decision making of Amorim, I can't see that happening. So yeah, I can't see him lasting, man. I just can't see it, because that game there was embarrassing. I know they got a draw in the end, but really and truly, Everton should have been out of sight, you know. And
so two things. So you were saying about Goodison Park and the crowd and all that. So I have actually been to Goodison Park to watch United. It was under Van Gaal, and we had players like Rooney, Schweinsteiger, Martial, right? Now the way to sort of play at Goodison Park is to attack, is to quieten the crowd, is to make them scared that you're going to score. Whereas we did the total opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? We gave them hope, and therefore we made it a very intimidating atmosphere. So that's the first thing. Again, the fact that he doesn't want to attack in the first half just ends making it so we concede. And then the other point is, before the match, in one of his annoying press conferences that he does now, there's always something he says which just sounds stupid. He was going on, well, David Moyes is doing a better job than I am. Again, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. He doesn't inspire me with confidence in anything when he talks anymore. It's like, I don't know, like he's just, I give up. There's a storm coming. We're the worst Man United team. It's just excuses. And I don't want to hear it, because you get paid a lot of money to overcome the problems, not just keep moaning about them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a defeatist attitude. But again, we don't know if because for all we know, Amorim he could just be saying things to the press, and really and truly, he probably wants out because he might think to himself, he expected a lot better quality from the squad. He probably expected him to get signings in January as well. So for all we know, he could just be, playing the game and want out. But yeah, his press conferences now, I don't really watch them too much, to be honest with you, no more, because you can tell he's isn't the same from when he first started it, and obviously something's happened where they've either told him to toe the line, or or he's just disillusioned with what's going on. But what I would say is that he's brought a lot of this on himself, from his team selections, from, again, the whole January where he sidelined certain players and didn't get any replacements, and he knew that as well. So he's only got himself to blame, really, if we're being honest. But what I wanted to ask you, actually, I mean, what did you make of what did you make of Onana in goal? Because I mean, I'm a bit mixed, really, because I know there's people that were obviously crashing it on him, saying that he was terrible. But my thing with him is a bit mixed, because I think he did make some good saves.
Yeah.
The first goal from Beto, I mean, there's not much he could have done with that, really, because it was so close, and obviously the way Beto hit it as well, it was a bit of a fluke finish. But a lot of people think that the second one, he done poor to put it back into the area. What do you think of that one?
I mean, it's like you said it there straight away, mixed. So half of what he does is bad, half of what he does is good. But basically, it's too much inconsistency. So he did pull off like one impressive save, but then other things he does, and you think, could you have done better? So again, it's just a mixed bag, and really, he is part of the problem. But if you defend better, he doesn't get that many shots against him. But let's be honest, right? The goals that Everton scored were just like, just stupid, like air tennis, sort of 100 headers, no one clearing the ball. It's just poor all round, really. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we got outdone by beautiful football. It was nothing like that of the sort. So it's a bit frustrating, and he's not the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. But again, I think there's other problems as well that add up to him not being as good as he maybe should be. But I'm sure Ineos will be looking at other goalies now to see what they can find. I think that do you remember when we were linked to this kid called Zion Suzuki, Japanese guy?
Yeah. He's at Parma. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, and
he looks good, to be fair. He does look good. Yeah.
And they're saying he's probably worth about 40 mil now. Now, if I remember rightly, he didn't want to come because he knew that obviously Onana would have been the first choice. So I respect that. But maybe if we get rid of one goalkeeper, then he might consider coming. Because
but the only problem I would say on that is that because I've seen Zion Suzuki, and to be fair, he does look very good. The only issue is Man United don't have too much money, and I think the likes of Onana will be low down in the list of priorities to replace. That's what I think, because I mean, if you can get, I don't know, offers of like 40 million in for Onana, or you can get other pieces of the team sorted out, and then you've got like a bonus to get rid of Onana and bring Suzuki in, then that might work. But I don't think they're looking at Onana as an emergency to replace him right now. And to be fair, I would agree with that, because as poor or as up and down as Onana has been, there's more pressing matters in this team.
Agreed.
And what I would say is that I do think if Onana has a settled team, not just the back, not only the back three, but a settled team, I think he might step up. You know what I mean? In terms of his confidence might grow. He might get used to a back three, because again, this back three is always changing. So I'm just what I'm trying to say really is that by no means is Onana safe, but I think he's not a major problem at this moment in time compared to other areas of the pitch, I would say. So, but yeah, I mean, if they can bring Suzuki, then by all means. But I can't really see that happening because again, you've spent 50 million on Anana, and obviously that kind of money you have to be strengthening other parts of the team. So yeah,
no, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, what did you make of Ashley Young's dive, or do you think it was a dive or not?
Oh, it was definitely a dive. I mean, obviously he did have a shirt pulled, right? But the fact that he dived like that it's kind of like karma, really, because you exaggerate so much that people actually believe that you got, fouled or whatever. But it's a joke. He was more or less like, it's the biggest dive you've probably seen all season. But can you imagine though if they didn't overrule that and then Everton scored? My God, the pressure on the manager would be insane.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But if I remember rightly, wasn't the fact that the ball was in our area because Bruno did a stupid pass, and it ended up in our area and caused a lot of panic, and then that's what happened, the penalty.
I believe so. Yeah, I can't actually remember. I can't actually remember what actually happened, but I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was like a potential attack for United, and it ended up a counter attack against United. If I'm sure.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I have seen penalties given for things like that. But I think what worked against Ashley Young is that Ashley Young's got previous for these kind of dives.
Yes.
And again, when you're slowing it down, and if you know Ashley Young, obviously very experienced in the Premier League, the way he does dive, he does that kind of movement a lot of the time. I think that's what played against him. Whereas I think if it was a different player, they might have got away with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the lick grabbed him a bit, then Maguire grabbed him a bit. And as you said, I think if that's given and they score, even though I think the manager is under pressure now anyway, I think this next game against Ipswich, for sure, even though I do think he has to win it, I think if that result against Everton would have gone the way of Everton, this next match, I think it could have been make or break for him.
Yeah,
that's what I believe, because I don't know if they would have given him the FA Cup and then the Arsenal game, because if you're giving him the Arsenal game, which again, Arsenal obviously second place, they might look at it and think United might not win this game. You're now in relegation territory because again, Ipswich would be on 20. I mean, if Ipswich was to beat United, they go on to 20 points, and United are on, well, obviously 10 points behind, but that can be turned easily, So
I think he's lucky. I mean, I say lucky because we don't know what's going to happen, but he's got Ipswich next and then Fulham in the FA Cup. Now, to me, those should be both wins, not even anything other than 2 wins. So if he can get those 2 wins, then the pressure dies down for a bit. However, if we draw against Ipswich and get knocked out the FA Cup, it's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah. I think he goes. If I can see them, moving him on. If I'm honest, because to get beat by Ipswich, who are in the bottom 3, and United are going to find themselves in 16th place as well.
Yeah,
because they're only above West Ham on goal. Well, I think the goal difference is the same actually. I believe so. The West Ham are in 16th. So obviously, if Ipswich was to beat them, that moves them down to 16th. And then you got Wolves, who are on 22 points, I think. And United have still got to play Wolves. And then United's next game's Arsenal, and then they'll be at the FA Cup. Yeah, that won't look good. So I think this next period for Amorim is crucial. If he manages to somehow come out with a couple of wins and a draw, even if he was to get beat by Arsenal, but they win the FA Cup and beat Ipswich, I think that will keep him there for sure. But I think if somehow he was to come out with a draw and then a loss to Arsenal and Fulham, I don't know. I think he'd be in massive trouble, if I'm honest.
Do you know what though, right? I would have a lot more respect for this manager if before getting sacked, he actually resigns. I'd have a lot more respect for him, because what he'd be doing then is he'd be saying, look, it's too much for me, this job. I did try, but I feel like I'm not the right man, so I'm just going to resign and walk away, instead of us having to sack him and then he gets loads of money compensation. Do you see what I'm saying? That would piss me off, because at the end of the day, mate, if he does get sacked, it's mainly his fault. It's mainly his fault. Yeah, you could moan about, I don't have my team yet, I only got one major transfer in January, whatever. There's no excuse, mate. Everton didn't get any signings and they're doing better than you. Arsenal didn't get any signings and they've had like injuries to two of their strikers. Newcastle didn't get any signings either. So not everyone got signings in January, so that can't be an excuse, I'm afraid. You've got to do better with what you've got. And the fact that if I've compiled a list of all the mistakes he's made, and I'm already at like 13, 14, and I'm still adding more, because
let's hear some of them. Go on.
A lot of it is to do with what he says in the press conference. Like you could say if you want that this is the worst Man United team ever. Say that behind closed doors. Don't say it in front of everyone.
In public.
You just look like an idiot. And can you imagine the players when they hear him say that as well? They're not going to be like, oh yeah, that's my gaffer, let's fight for him. They're not. It's going to do the opposite. They're going to probably think to themselves, well, you're the manager, so you should be doing something about it, instead of just throwing us under the bus. So a lot of his problems are the things that he's saying, because they're just so counterproductive. Like the other one where he says about, oh, I'd rather play my 60-year-old goalkeeping coach. Well, go on then.
He's never going to do it. So.
It's just stupid things, isn't it? And I want, like Sir Alex, right? He wouldn't ever say stuff like that. What he would do is he would say stuff to unite the team, siege mentality. Whereas this guy's doing the total opposite. He's alienating people. He's freezing them out. He's giving blind loyalty to players who don't deserve it, like Højlund, Delo, and Bruno. And let's be honest, right? Bruno scored a free kick. Yeah, fair play, good free kick. But apart from that, he didn't really do much, did he? Let's be honest.
Oh, he was. You know what? Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, when he scored that free kick, the first thing I said, was, you know, the problem is, the fact that he scored this free kick is the problem in football, and it's a massive problem. And someone like him, he headlines this because he was so bad, but then. And again, this is what I keep saying to people, and people, if you're watching as well, please do not listen to these commentators and to these pundits, because these guys have a massive voice on TV. And if you're someone that doesn't really take a keen interest in football and you're just believing every word they say, they're actually doing you a disservice, because the fact is now, the fact that Bruno got man the match, is worrying, because he only got man the match because of the goal. And then you hear the likes of Rio Ferdinand as well. So Rio Ferdinand, they were asking him for his opinion on the commentary, and he started saying that since Bruno's come to the club along with Cristiano Ronaldo, he's carried the team. And he just talking rubbish basically, and he was just propping up Bruno. And the thing is, he only propped up Bruno because Bruno scored the free kick. But it's like, but what about the other 60, 70 minutes before that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Bruno was poor. Watched the whole game. He was giving the ball away. And Bruno can't, when he gets pressed in tight areas, he can't get out of it because he isn't that type of player. And the fact that he's always on every set piece, it gets him away with certain things, because if you're always on every set piece, sooner or later you're going to do something, and then it's just going to take people's minds away from how poor you've been doing throughout the whole game.
That's it.
You know, and yeah, this is Bruno in a nutshell, really.
And the other thing that annoys me, right, is under Ten Hag would now and then put him on the right wing and stuff like this, right? And all his stand fans would go, "Oh well, you're playing him on the right wing. That's not his position." Listen, Rooney would play anywhere you wanted him to, and he would do a job.
Yeah,
he would do the job, because that's the kind of guy he is. He wouldn't make excuses and go, "Oh, Sir Alex has put me on the right wing, or he's put me in midfield." You put him anywhere on that pitch, and he'll do a good job. But I don't want to hear this excuse about, "Oh, Bruno has has to play in this specific position," because if you're good enough, you can play anywhere. More or less.
I think the thing with Bruno in this system though, he's better in central midfield than he is as a 10. But even in central midfield, he ain't great because he'll only look half decent against lower league teams. But if he plays up against any decent team, whether that be in Europe or in the league, playing in that central midfield position, he's going to come unstuck, really, because again, the only way Bruno thrives is if he's got willing runners. But again, as I keep saying, this willing runner in terms of like Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, you would associate that with the lower league teams because they're playing on the counter attack. You know what I mean? Because Bruno very rarely picks out someone with pinpoint passing. It's always into an area where you've got willing runners, and that's how he shines. But someone like Xerxes and Bruno are not necessarily going to work because Xerxes likes the ball to feet. Yeah. Xerxes isn't just a runner for runner's sake. You know what I mean? And again, this is about identifying what are players' strengths and weaknesses. And again, Bruno's strength is just playing the ball in behind for a willing runner. But as we know, Man United can't keep playing that way because this is a relegation type of play, really, when you think about it, on the counter attack. And the fact that he got man the match after the game, again, is a disgrace because as like obviously just like you, we both watched the game. Yeah, and no way was he the best player on the pitch. No way. So yeah, man, it's just frustrating. But again, you're gonna have his fans, and they're just gonna they're gonna ignore everything else and say, look, Bruno got us back into the game, and it's just draining, man. This guy's been a massive problem at the football club for years, and every manager that seems to come in is just doing the same old mistakes. And this is why I'm saying with Amorim's no different to Ten Hag because he's playing Bruno every game. Yeah. Regardless if Bruno needs to come off or not. So whether that's in Bruno's contract, I don't know, but he's just doing the same thing that Ten Hag was doing. And I keep saying it, if Man United want to be serious again, the likes of Bruno Fernandes can't be used as a major player going forward, just like a few others.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of it comes down to, like you said, because he takes every free kick, every corner.
Yeah.
Eventually, one of the things that he does is going to come off, and that's the free kick. Because let's be honest, who else was going to take that free kick? He wouldn't have let anyone else take it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the only person that would have taken it, he wasn't even on the pitch, and that was Eriksen.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just trying to find this quote that Amorim said about Bruno. I think it was today.
What do you think of Manuel Ugarte finish?
Lovely. For a weaker foot. Good chest control and then volley. I personally think he was more of a man of the match than Bruno was.
To be fair, that finish surprised me. I didn't really expect him to do that.
No, I didn't.
I think in terms of all the players on the pitch, he was one of the better ones, in terms of. But I think these kind of games suit Ugarte because Ugate's style of play, he's he's basically a dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll put out fires, he'll win the ball back all the time. And against an Everton team like that, as I said, when the crowd's on top of you, this is where Ugarte shines because it's his type of game.
Yeah.
But for him to get the bonus in terms of that finish, I think that capped off a decent display, to be honest with you.
Put it this way, mate. I'd rather have 3 Ugates and 3 Brunos in my team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I found this quote. So basically, Amorim is saying, Bruno Fernandes is a leader. I trust him. Bruno for us is so important in any position that he plays. He is a guy that can sometimes in the hardest moments hold the ball, and that is really important for the team. I don't agree with hardly any of what you just said there.
But the thing is, yeah, when he's saying hold the ball, I kind of understand what he means, yeah, because there is times that Bruno gets the ball and what he'll do, but is very clever. I'll say clever actually, but I think what he does, yeah, because Bruno knows he hasn't got the physicality in terms of the strength and the pace and the skill. What he'll do is that he'll delay passing the ball at times, but then the opposition are used to him playing that ball, and then when they try to jump in, Bruno might skip round them, and he does that quite a lot, and I think that's what the manager's talking about. But in a sense, really, I don't understand why that's so important, because there's so many other players that can just that can hold on to the ball. Christian Eriksen can do that. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what he's trying to get at there. I think he'd have been better off just saying, look, Bruno's my captain. I'm going to play him every game, because it's very clear. It's very clear to what he's doing now anyway.
Yeah. Regardless of form, he will play every game, and probably won't even sub him off hardly ever.
Yeah. But that's gonna breed discontent amongst the squad, regardless if he's the captain or not. Because if you're in that changing room, and you're not playing and you feel you should be playing, but you've got your supposed captain just doing what he wants, and plays every game. Why are you going to be looking at that as, well, that's right? You know what I mean? You're not. So yeah, what he's doing there is for me is poor management, because the players are more important than the coach, because there's more players than there are of the coach, and the coach needs to get the best out of these players. And as we said before, we know that these players aren't good enough. But if you're meant to be any kind of top coach, which is why the reason he was brought in for, you need to be making a better fist of what you're doing with these players, because I can't. There isn't one player that I can actually say has got better. If anything, they've got worse.
Yeah,
and they were bad under Ten Hag. So work that one out. You know what I mean? But
well, this is it. I mean, when you actually look, I know he hasn't been here that long, but you can still judge and analyze, right?
Yeah.
What good has he actually done for this club? I don't really know that much he's done, because we can say Rashford was a bit of a distraction, right? But he was doing all right at Villa. Anthony's doing good at Betis, and by all accounts, Malacia's doing okay at PSV. So it just shows you that all these players that he chose to get rid of, they're doing okay. But we're not. Yeah. So
I think
I don't know what he's done.
Yeah, I was going to say on that. I think the main thing with all three of them players is a different environment for one. And if I'm looking at someone like Unai Emery, for instance, Unai Emery for me is a very good man manager. Yeah. So he's probably put his arm around Rashford, even though for me I don't think Rashford deserves an arm around the shoulder, because the guy's on a lot of money. He's been made the go-to guy at United, and he hasn't lived up to it. So I think out of all the players, the three that have gone, he shouldn't really need that as much. But I can imagine that Emery's done that, and Emery's just basically told him clear instructions in what he wants from Rashford. And Rashford's obviously responded, knowing that he needs to kind of buck up his ideas in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for Anthony, for me, Anthony was never a 80 plus million player. He wasn't. But what I did say, and what many people have said, is that in this system, Anthony offered qualities that not many other players offered in a certain role.
Yeah.
This manager blatantly didn't want to play him there and decided to keep using Dalot.
Yeah.
And the problem is he's using Dalot because Dalot's his compatriot. Because there could be no other reason. You know what I mean? He'll probably deny that, but it's very obvious he's using Dalot as his compatriot. But the issue is now is that, you know, luckily Dorgu's come in, and again Dorgu's been good since he's come in.
Yeah, yes.
But the problem is now is that because Ahmad's out, and God forbid if he was to get an injury to, i.e. Dalot or Dorgu, he's going to be in trouble again, because who is he going to play there?
Well, this is it. Do you remember, like, you know, obviously it was in January. I sent you that picture with the quote of Amorim saying it was his choice to get rid of these players. Yeah. And you said, if Ahmad gets injured, then this is on the manager. And lo and behold, literally weeks later, it happens. Now, Anthony would have been the perfect person to at least try to make up for that injury. Yeah.
But Anthony should have been playing with Ahmad on that side. That's the problem.
Exactly.
This manager just doesn't make any sense.
Because people say to me, he was given a chance. Mate, he was given a bit of a chance. It's not like there were so many games where he didn't even get on the pitch. Yeah. Even as a sub. So I think that's disingenuous to say that he had more than enough opportunities. He didn't. You know, he didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I mean, Anthony wasn't given a chance. No way was he. He was I think he was coming on for like 5 minutes, and he wasn't given no chance. The manager clearly didn't like him. And again, if the manager doesn't rate him, then that's his prerogative, you know what I mean? But the fact that you didn't get really anyone in January apart from Dorgu, and now you've got this injury list, you know, you better pray that these players stay fit, because if they don't, it's going to be on you. And again, I don't want to hear people saying that Ineos let him down, and we know that that Ineos should have provided more. We know that, but he still had the option to keep those players.
Exactly.
This is what people seem to be getting confused at. You know, regardless if you don't think these players are your type of players or whatever, you know, if Ineos are letting you know, January we're not really going to get anyone in. You better make it work with these players, because you're meant to be a coach.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating because, and again, I can see some more injuries coming along, because he's making this team work a lot hard. You know, a lot harder probably than they have done in the past. So they're bound to pick up a few more injuries. You know, a lot of these players are going to get run into the ground. And what's in reserve, God help us, man, to be honest with you.
Did he use all of his subs on Saturday?
So Cheeto come on,
Garnacho
come on, didn't I think did Mazraoui come off?
For God, dude, I'm gonna have to have a look.
Lenny Yoro come on.
Yeah, that's it. So that's
Lenny Yoro.
So
Yoro, Garnacho, and Cheeto came on. Yeah,
but again,
they come in,
in my opinion, you should be using all your subs, especially when you've got a few injuries like we have. You need to use all your subs. It's no good just doing 3 here. I mean, the match before that, he put 1 sub on for 3 minutes.
But this is the thing, though. Yeah, he only I believe he only put that amount of subs on because of the criticism he got against Tottenham.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I think if you don't get the criticism against Tottenham, I could see him doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't buy it really, but
I'm just having a look now just to make sure it definitely was 3 subs. I can't think of any other ones that you made. I think it was just 3, like we said.
Yeah, no, I think Cheeto come on for Højlund, Garnacho came on for Casemiro, and Lenny Yoro come on for Mazraoui. Yeah,
I think that's it. Eriksen didn't get any minutes.
Eriksen didn't come on now. Sekou Kone didn't come on. It was them 3. 100% them 3.
And the problem is, right, in this formation that he's chosen, people get tired because you got 2 midfielders. That's it. Whereas most teams play with 3. So straight away, you're always going to sort of almost always be overrun in the midfield area. And then he's obviously asking What I don't like at the moment is it just feels more like it's all about athleticism instead of technique. I want my players to sort of play with the ball, pass it better. I don't, not necessarily just run. That's what it feels like at the moment, you know.
Bro, listen, it's been like that, yeah. Don't just think it's Amorim, yeah. This has been going on since the days of Solskjaer, because I've been calling this out for time, yeah. This club, especially the fan base, they don't like footballers. They just like tryhards. They like runners. I've been saying this for time, because if you look at all the players that have been forced out of this club, it's no surprise they're all the footballers. You know what I mean? Because again, they just associate players that are good, players that run around, which is why Joshua Zirkzee gets a lot of criticism, because Joshua Zirkzee is perceived to not be running around. They automatically think he's lazy. This is what these people do, because really and truly they don't really understand football. They try to pigeonhole a lot of players altogether. Like they want Zirkzee to be doing what Rasmus does, but then they'll never want Rasmus to be doing what Zirkzee does.
Yeah,
it's just backwards thinking. You know what I mean? And again, yeah, so it isn't just Amorim. Amorim just doing the same thing as Ten Hag, because when Ten Hag, I thought Ten Hag was gonna be playing the ball players. He done the absolute opposite.
Yeah, I expected Ajax football of possession based football, dominating the game.
I think we all did, to be honest with you. We all did, and he fooled us, man. To be honest with you, and when he said he couldn't play the Ajax way, I think that should have been the alarm bells ringing there. And you could see that in his team selection, because if you're playing a front three of Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund, I mean, in what world do you think you're going to get any goals and create anything? Because all three of them players are shoot first players, and then you've got a striker who can't even hold the ball. So how do you think it's going to work? And then in behind that, you've got Bruno Fernandes, who plays Hollywood balls and is a shoot first player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand how you think that's ever going to work, and that isn't even hard to work out. That's just common sense. And again, you look at the likes of Sancho, Pogba, Martial, even players before them as well. All the ball players get forced out of this club. And this is why United are left with what they got now. So is there any surprise why United are languishing down in where they are? Because if you look at the actual footballers, the proper footballers at this team, in this lineup, there's only one, and that's Zirkzee. That this is the issue. This is the actual proper footballers in this team is Joshua Zirkzee, and this is Zirkzee's first season. And people wonder why United are playing like this and struggling, because, as I say, the footballers have been forced out of this club, and now you're just left with a bunch of tryhards. And again, tryhards are usually at the bottom of the league, and this is why United find themselves there, because the lack of quality in this squad as a whole is alarming. It's poor. So yeah.
If you look at the stats, it's similar to the Spurs game, where just not clinical enough. So we had 9 shots, but only 3 on target.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But again, where were a lot of these shots taken from, though?
God knows. I can't even remember now. I can't even remember. But what I don't like is the fact that we don't attack enough. We don't have enough of our players in the box. Everton did. When Everton attacked us, they had players in the box.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, so why are we so cowardly? It's got to be the manager. It's got to be the manager saying, you don't do this, you don't do that, you stay there. It's got to be his rigid system. Yeah. I don't think we're a very attacking team, to be honest.
No. Listen, United are not. And again, this could be one or two things. Yeah. At the moment, he's in fair for his job, I would say, because he probably looks at it, and again, they haven't got the options to be too attacking now anyway, because when you had the likes of Anthony and Rashford there, he could have played a bit more attacking, but he didn't. So even what's available now, and obviously Ahmad's not there, he's only going to play what he's got available to him. So he's going to play Dalot and Dorgu because they're the only wing backs he has. You know, if you look at the attacking part of it, he's only got Garnacho, Xerxes, Højlund to pick from, and then if he doesn't want to play one of them three, it's going to be Bruno. Yeah, and then you look at central midfield. Obviously, we know Kobe should be playing the 10. Obviously, Kobe's injured, but he's always been playing Kobe as one of the two in midfield, which again is just poor because you can see Kobe that doesn't play that position. So what he's left with is alarming, and even playing players in the right position, you can't actually trust him to even do that anyway. So yeah, my thing is with this manager, he's in fair for his job. So if a team looks very defensive, it's definitely gonna look like that now, because he knows he's one loss away from it all come crashing down. Or he could just be very stubborn.
Yeah, I think he's very stubborn. I was watching a video that Muppeteers did with the Sporting Lisbon fan, and just kept saying that the Sporting fan kept saying he was stubborn. He said it like 3, 4, 5 times. That's fine if you're doing really well and you're winning every game. That's fine. You can be stubborn, but when you're not winning every game, you got to start thinking: is there something I can just change slightly to get better results? Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I don't like the 2-man midfield. If you really, really want to have your 3 at the back, that's fine. But then change things here and there. Make us more solid in the midfield by actually having 3 centre midfielders like most Premier League teams do. Because I don't really think these 2 10s that they have, that he's trying to use, I don't think that really works that well, to be honest with you.
But do you know what makes me laugh about all this? Yeah, again, 3-4, was it 3-4-2-1? Yeah, which is what Amorim plays. Really and truly, isn't really my preferred formation. I prefer 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Yeah, but with this system here, it's very obvious. Yeah, and this is what makes me laugh with a lot of fans. Yeah. If you look at what United have available to them at the moment, especially in them 10 positions, there's only one really number 10 there. And who do you think that is?
Eriksen.
There you go. Eriksen's the only true number 10, really, because Xerxes is a 9, Bruno's is an 8, and Garnacho's a winger. So the only real number 10, really, realistically, and that's not even in this system, is Christian Eriksen. He hardly plays Eriksen there, or hardly plays him at all. You're playing a winger who can't play in between the lines, and naturally he's always going to revert back to type anyway and play from the left in Garnacho. Bruno Fernandes, we already know, isn't a 10, he's a number 8. So just based on that, are you going to keep trying the same thing and getting what results? Because all those players we just mentioned, and again, Eriksen, you'd play Eriksen in a 10 in a different system, but he doesn't even play as much. So why does he keep doing the same thing? These are the questions that need to be asked. I think in terms of having the 2 in midfield, I'm not really fussed about that. It's about having the right profiles in there. You need to have players with high energy, players that are very press resistant as well in that position. And if you look at Ugarte is a bulldog, but he's poor on the ball. Toby Collier is decent, but he's relatively still inexperienced. Bruno isn't great in there unless you're playing bottom of the league. And Kobe can't play there. And Eriksen hasn't really got the legs. And Casemiro, you're asking him to do a man-for-man press, which isn't his game. So the whole thing is a shambles, really, because the fact that he keeps persisting with this, he's only going to keep getting the same results, you know. And it's very easy, you know. Like, if you want to keep playing the same system, fair enough. But as you said, at least like adapt it slightly, you know, rather than playing 2 midfielders, play 3, and then you might play, I don't know, 2 strikers, or you know, you might play like an Eriksen just slightly ahead of the 2 in midfield. Change something up. But I'll say this right now: if he's going to persist playing with a lineup of obviously forget about the defense because it's obvious what he's going to do.
Yeah.
If he's going to consist and play with Ugarte, let's say Bruno, Garnacho, Xerxes, and Højlund, there's more results like the Tottenham game round the corner or like the Everton game. It's going to keep happening because, again, that front three as a quartet isn't good enough. You know, what's behind it, you know, you can't really rely on it too confident.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to keep getting the same old results, if I'm honest.
I mean, that's when it boils down to the stubbornness part. Because if we can see it, other people can see it, and the results prove what we're saying right, then it is just down to stubbornness. He doesn't want to change anything because then he thinks maybe he hasn't got the authority or he's not the big man. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this club is more important than you. Yeah. This club will still be around even when you're not here, bruv. So just think about the club. Stop being such an egomaniac and just change something to make us look all around a better team. Because I said to you like 10 minutes ago, I don't know what good he's done since he's been here, really. There's not that much he's done that's good. There's not.
I think the only thing I could say that he done well from when he first started, again, is taking a grip of the likes of Rashford, you know, because I think he's the only manager since probably Ralph Rangnick that has let Rashford know, you know, you gotta fix up if you want to be here. And obviously, when he first come into his press conferences as well, you know, he was quite straightforward talking as well. In terms of on the pitch, as I said, you know, and I never thought I'd be saying this, he ain't doing no different to what Ten Hag is doing.
That's it.
I'd argue players have got worse. So that's in it. That's the obvious. And even likes of Rasmus Højlund, for instance, for how bad he is, he's got worse under Amorim. You know, the same with Garnacho. How bad he is, he's got worse. So, yeah, like I can't really name you a player that he's improved. People might say Ahmad. He ain't improved. Ahmad was always good. It's just Ahmad's been given more of a chance. But again, the reason Ahmad is playing is because Ahmad is well. If you take Ahmad and Xerxes, for instance, Xerxes only playing because there's no one else. That's very obvious what he's doing. Whereas because Ahmad is more physicality than Xerxes in terms of his running, that's what the manager likes. You know what I mean? Whereas if Ahmad was very much like Xerxes in the way he played, Ahmad wouldn't have played as much as he has been.
Yeah, true.
He wouldn't have. This manager is very obvious in what he does. And again, the links to Quenda, I'm happy with, because Quenda is a very good footballer and he's got the physicality as well. So I'm happy with the link, but I'm just making people aware that this manager, very much like Ten Hag, doesn't really rate the ball players. And to me, that's alarming. And this is why I'm trying to say he's like, I think this week that he's got coming up, Wednesday, and then I think it's Saturday or Sunday against Fulham. If he don't get a positive result in either one of them games, you know, coming against Arsenal, you know, they get beat against Arsenal. I don't know if he stays, if I'm honest, because would you trust him to pick the right team in Europa? Because I wouldn't.
I can't answer that. I can't answer.
No, but it's true though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
It's true. If he can't pick the right team now, I mean, what's stopping him from picking the right team in Europa?
Yeah.
Because I watched that game against Rangers, and I'll tell you one thing: Rangers should have at least got a draw out of that. You know, and that's Rangers. So, you know, you still got a few. Obviously, Tottenham are in the other side of the draw, but you still got Real Sociedad. That's going to be a tough game.
It is. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because their last game was like, I think there were 4 goals in the first half.
Yeah, but again, you're playing up against a team that are very used to keeping the ball. You know, and again with this Man United team, if you're chasing the ball for 90 minutes, you're going to get tired. You're going to get injured eventually. So again, this is the problem. And the first leg is in Spain. So if they can come away with that game, 0-0 or better yet 1-0, then yeah, they'll be in the chance. But if they're down in that first leg, like they're gonna, like I can't see them going through personally. Not with what they've got available at the moment. And the way this manager picks the team, because there's not many goals in this team for one.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the 2 goals really from the 2 midfielders. One from a set piece, and the other one technically was from not set piece, but it was from a corner, innit? And that come out.
So, isolated moments are not like good moves of football, were they? You know what I mean?
No, it was terrible. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But before we wrap, though, what's your predictions for the Ipswich game and the Fulham game coming up this week?
I've got to predict a win because it's unacceptable to not win both of them. So I would say 3-1 versus Ipswich. And is the Fulham game away or at home? I can't remember.
Fulham's at home. So two home games coming up, yeah.
We got to win both. I can't see anything other than that because you're lucky that you've got those 2 games in a row now, because you've got the perfect opportunity to get a bit of good spirit in the camp after 2 wins there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, obviously Ipswich got beat 4-1 against Tottenham. So obviously confidence would probably be low. You'd probably say.
Yeah.
But then again, they might look at it and think, because their last away game was against Aston Villa, which they drew 1-1, and they were down to 10 men.
Yeah.
So you probably say they might be fancying it away from home. If I'm serious, I want to say United win the game. But for me, that game against Everton was very alarming, and I think we can't even say United are at home, so they'll do better at home, because they've been poor at home as well, and they've lost quite a few games at home this season as well. I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw.
Right.
I don't think they'll lose the game. I mean, God forbid if they lose that game, but I think 1-1, because I think I believe if Ipswich get the first goal, I don't know if United come back. I know they come back against Everton, but I think a lot of that was down to luck, because even the Garnacho free kick wasn't a free kick really, and obviously I think Bruno took another free kick actually after that, didn't he? Because the first one was handball, and then he got moved to a different position. So I'm gonna say 1-1 for the Ipswich game. And then the Fulham game, I think Fulham beat them in the FA Cup. I think Fulham beat them because I think the way Fulham are going to play, they're going to play on a counter-attack. And I think if they play Adama Traore on that right-hand side, obviously you've got Anthony Robinson as a left-back, he'll be bombing up and down the pitch as well. They've got a bit of pace in the wide areas. So, and I think, I'm looking at United's injuries as well, and again, a lot of the players are going to be tiring as well, and so I'm gonna say 2-1 Fulham. I can't see United winning either one of these games, I'm afraid, because I don't trust this manager to pick the right team. That's the main thing. So
he's got to make use of the whole squad, and he doesn't do that because, like we've said, Eric doesn't get looking at the moment. I don't know why. It's not like when he plays. Like I said, you can see he's still got the football brains, but he obviously doesn't fancy him, doesn't trust him, which I think is just crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's because again, it's the physicality side of it. Because Eriksen's not a runner, he doesn't want to play him. And this I'm trying to say to you, this manager doesn't like players. He just likes runners, just like what Ten Hag was doing. And this is why I'm looking at him a bit weird now, because it's another manager that I was excited to get through the door.
Same here.
But yet he's doing the same things as the previous. So Yeah, but
would you have taken Xavi? Not Xavi Alonso. I mean Xavi of Barcelona.
Xavi
Would you have
Hernandez.
taken him? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, the reason I'll take Xavi is because anyone the kind of player that Xavi was,
Yeah.
and the kind of football that he played at Barcelona,
Yeah.
that's all we can ask for. I mean,
Exactly.
if Man United are playing good football, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been so starved as a fan base, yeah. I
Yeah.
just want to see good football because inevitably, if you're playing good football at a club like United, you're eventually going to succeed
Yeah.
because good footballers will eventually win stuff, you know, and then you can attract better players with it as well.
Exactly.
So the main thing for me is I want to see good football. I don't want to be watching United every week and you're not knowing who's going to play, you're not knowing how they're going to play, because it's just boring, isn't it? Really, and then you're not winning nothing with it either. So I will definitely take Xavi for the player that he was and the style of play that he does. But whether Xavi wants to come into this shithole, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because if I'm Xavi, I'm staying well away from this club because this club is I mean, it's too early to say if it's going in the right direction, but if I'm Xavi at the moment, I'm staying clear because until a lot of these players get moved, I think the summer's the main thing for me. You know, whether Amorim's here or not, I want to see what they're going to do with a lot of players because the players that I want to get moved, that I want to be moved on, will let me know that this club they're starting to do serious things.
Yeah.
And that's when I'll start taking them seriously. But until that, I don't know what manager comes in because my first choice has always been Zidane. You know, I wanted Zidane before they even hired Ten Hag and Solskjaer. But again, Zidane's is a difficult one because he needs, obviously his career has always been at, especially with managing, he's having the ready-made squad, isn't it? So,
True.
but he's always been my first choice. I like De Zerbi as well. Obviously, he's at Marseille. So, but yeah, I think we have to wait and see. But for sure, the way what Amorim's doing, it can't continue. So they have to make a decision, man, whether he's going to be the long term or whether he's run his race. And I think at the moment, for me, he's struggling badly. And whether he can turn it around, I don't know, because I don't trust him, as I said, to pick the right players or pick or to make in-game changes that change the flow of the game as well. You know, whether that happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. But for sure, this Ipswich game on Wednesday is going to be crucial, and so is the FA Cup game. And then against Arsenal, again, beat them in the cup, and it's always good to beat Arsenal. But yeah, we just don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll have to just wait and see, man. So
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, man, definitely. But yeah, say for coming on. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you subscribe to both channels in the description. So at GavGoesIn and at Elite Baller. Bro, you got anything you want to say before we go?
All I'll say is basically I'm looking at all the videos on YouTube now of people going live, and it's all about the cuts that Ineos are making. People need to understand that this is because of what the Glazers have done. They put us in debt. For 5 years, we've been running out of money, right? This needs to be done. And at the end of the day, if you just bought a business and it's not doing well, you need to make some money back. And if you don't need the staff there, you get rid of them, because why would you? It's not a charity. It's as simple as that. So people can focus on that all they want to bring negativity, but these things need to be done. Otherwise, we're going to lose money every single year, and that's not good enough for a club like Man United. So you need to look at the deeper picture, and stop getting like at Ineos, because Ineos are trying to fix the mess that the Glazers have done. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%, man. Like, at the end of the day, man, if they're losing money, they're gonna make cuts somewhere, you know, and someone's got to miss out. So, I know people will be looking at it a bit differently, you know, but again, these guys are in charge of the club, man, so they've got to do something, you know. And I know there's people out there that, you know, they're coming out with all their other stuff, and you know they're not happy with what's going on. But I think for the moment, man, we have to just see what Ineos are going to do. I think if Ineos can, if obviously Ineos are going forward with all these plans, I think if they can kind of, in the summer show that there's been a massive change, and they can start bringing in players and start restructuring things properly.
Yeah,
I think in hindsight, it will look like a good decision,
exactly.
But I think at the moment people are going to be having their say on it, and for me, really, I think these things needed to be done.
Yeah.
So, regardless if people losing their jobs or not, man, it is what it is, I suppose. It's harsh,
it happens
but
everywhere. It happens everywhere. Like, you got the Sky News journalist, Minister Reddy, going on about, these poor people losing their jobs. She works for a company that just got rid of 1,000 people in January. So that's just a hypocrite. You know what I mean? People lose their jobs all the time, but because it's at Man United, it's a massive deal. It's just a joke, mate. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, man. I agree. But again, people are gonna have their say in it, but it is what it is, man. And I think for the moment, as I said to you before, we just gotta trust Ineos and see what happens, man. I think for me, I'm already bored of this season. I just wanna get to the summer, man, and just get to work and start bringing in some proper players. And whether that's gonna be under Amorim or not remains to be seen, man. But we'll have to wait and see, man. But Wednesday come, Ipswich game.
Yeah.
Nothing but a win, like not even a draw. Has to be a win, So we'll be looking forward to that, man. But guys, safe for coming on, safe for your comments and that as well. As I say, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to both channels in the description. And we're gonna be back on Elite Borders channel. When should we say, bro?
We could possibly do something after
Wednesday.
Yeah. We'll sort something out.
We'll sort something out, man. Yeah. So guys, make sure you tune into that, man. I'll send you the link once we sort it out. Come through and give us some of your chat, man. Some comments and that. Let us know what you wanna talk about. Even if you're not a Man United fan, you might be a Liverpool fan, a Man City fan, Arsenal fan. Obviously, I know the league table's looking a bit peak for a lot of people now. I think Liverpool for sure will go ahead and win that league. Man. So I watched that game yesterday against Liverpool Man City. Did you see any of it?
Well, I know that basically Pep Guardiola was talking out of his ass because he was making out how proud he was of his players. Mate, they did nothing. That was so easy for Liverpool. For them to win 2-0 away to Man City, that's just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. Mate, listen, you know what, I have to be honest with you, as a manager, I think Pep's I think he's the greatest of all time, personally. I know people will say Ferguson or I think Ancelotti's up there as well, but for me, I'll say Pep, but what I will say, I think this has probably been their worst season. I watched that game and not at one minute did I think that they're ever going to score. I think Liverpool were in total control for the whole game. And the first goal that they conceded, was comical from Rico Lewis. And Rico Lewis is a good player, but I think Rico Lewis, just like Phil Foden, I think they've kind of been found out now.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say they've been found out, and I'll tell you why. Because Phil Foden is a very good football player, but Phil Foden hasn't got any physicality.
No,
and I think that's what's overcoming him at the moment, because he was playing as a false nine, and it's like Van Dijk and Konate, whenever he was getting into them half spaces, all they got to do is pressure him, and then he's just going to lose the ball because he's not strong enough. You know what I mean? And I think that first goal, Rico Lewis could have just played the ball to, I think it was Savinho. He was dilly-dallying on the ball, and then I think he just got, I think he went out for a corner, and then from the corner that was well worked from Liverpool, I think he missed the challenge to stop Salah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, Salah's another one, man. He wasn't great, but to be fair, when it comes to numbers, I think he's on another level, really. You know. But
it's funny seeing Arsenal capitulate though once again.
Yeah, exactly, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was watching that game and yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was enjoying it, man. I ain't gonna lie, because these Arsenal fans are they're just tiring, man. I had my guy come in my chat on Saturday, and he was also, when United were getting beat, he was, you know what I mean, he's excited. And then I went to him, listen, don't get too excited, man, because you're playing West Ham without a striker, and look what happens, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, just before we go, man, big up Passenger for coming on. Do I think Salah will leave? Do I think Salah will leave? I think I don't know, it's a tough one. Do you know what? I think Salah, yeah, I think he might go. I think he might go Saudi, you know. And I tell you why. And I'll let you say your thing before we bounce as well, Elite Baller, yeah. The reason I think Salah will go is because I think if Liverpool win the league, he might look at it and think, well, I've done everything I had to do at this club. Now I've won the league. Exactly. I've won Champions League. I don't think, obviously, in terms of him catching Shearer's record, he ain't going to do that, because he's obviously Shearer's on 260 and he's too far behind that really at his age. I think that yeah, he might look at winning this league title and think, yeah, I've accomplished everything, and now I'm gonna go and get paid the big money in Saudi. So yeah, if that answers your question, man, I think he might leave if the Liverpool win the league. Yeah. What do you think, Elite Baller?
Yeah, exactly right. Especially if they could even win the Champions League, for all we know. If he wins one of those two trophies, the perfect time for him to bow out. It's kind of like Cantona. Cantona left before he needed to, because he wanted to bow out at the top. That's what Salah will do, because at the end of the day, the Premier League is ruthless, right? As you get older, it gets harder to play in the Premier League. So it makes sense. It makes sense for him to leave at the end of the season. So yeah, I reckon you're right. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah, I think he's gone, man. If they win it, for sure. But you never know, man. Liverpool might turn around and think, you know, we can't lose him and just offer him something ridiculous. But I think whatever they offer him, it's going to far exceed it's not going to exceed what Saudi can offer him. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But
just quickly, mate, I don't know if we've spoken about this, but I would definitely take Osimhen right now over, like, say you give me a choice, right?
Yeah,
Højlund or Osimhen. I'm taking Osimhen every day.
Oh, listen, I'll take Chris Wood over Højlund. You know what I mean? I'll take anyone, man. Give me Cameron Archer at Southampton. That's how bad Højlund is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, again, Osimhen's not my type of striker, but and again, whether United go in for him or not, I don't know. But I'll take anyone over Højlund. You know what I mean? I'll take that the goalkeeping coach that Amorim was saying. Yeah, listen, it's not a joke, man. That's how bad he is. So it's not really a prize, man, going for Osimhen at the moment, because Højlund's that bad, and this manager's already said, you know, he doesn't see Xerxes as a 9. So we got to keep suffering with Højlund, and then you got Cheeto, who again isn't ready. So we're gonna be suffering even more, man. So as I said before, man, just strap in, man, and get ready for this season, because yeah, it's gonna get worse. That's what I will tell you. It will get a lot worse. So and again, Amorim's only got himself to kind of blame, I would say, at the moment, because that January window, man, he could have had a few more options, and you know. So yeah, he's only got himself to blame, man. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, we'll get going anyway. But as I said, man, Safe for coming on. Big up Agnes as well for coming on. Passenger said we'll link with Gomez. Yeah, hopefully we get Gomez in the summer, man. Bring him back home. That's what I want to see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But Elite Baller, man, Safe for coming on. Big up Daniela as well. Safe for coming on, guys. And I'm going to be back on Elite Baller's channel after Wednesday. So yeah, make sure you come through and give us some support there, man. And as I say, give us your comments, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy, man.
Peace. Take it easy.
Take care.